Lowe.
All right, we're going to get started with our post-race media availabilities for today's Crown Royal presents the Combat Wounded Coalition 400 at the Brickyard. We are joined by our second place finisher, Matt Kenseth, the driver of the number 20 Dollar General Toyota. Matt, why don't you just take us through that last restart there?
Just the last one? That was nice, yeah. Yeah, the last one we had, obviously the bottom was the choice, and but the 22, I don't think anybody restarts better than him in the last handful of years, especially that initial launch through the gears. So, with him doing it outside, he did a spectacular job of still being beside Kyle when we got to turn one, and I wasn't up there as close as I was hoping to get. And, he cleared him. I barely got under Joey, and I was really tight. So I actually barely got by him and just barely held off the 48 and 11. But got through the gears fine and got in position. Just, couldn't do anything when I got there.
And we are also being joined right now by our third place finisher, Jimmie Johnson, the driver of the number 48 Lowe's Red Vest Chevrolet. Jimmie, I'm going to ask you the same question we just asked Matt. Take us through that last restart there, please.
For us, it really worked in our benefit. I think I restarted in 7th and ended up 3rd when it was all said and done. So cleared the 4 pretty quick. I can't remember who was right. I think the 11 got inside the 78, so that opened the door for me there. Then we both got the 22, and then I was able to get the 11 coming to the checkered off of turn 4. So I knew I had a good race car. I really never got a chance to see what the 18 had. I just heard lap times and obviously knew he was very fast. But we were sitting there on new tires compared to the leaders, and those restarts really worked in our favor, and I was able to get up to 3rd there at the end.
All right, and one more additional fact for both of you. You've clinched top 30 spots, and because of your multiple wins, have clinched a spot in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, assuming that you attempt to start the remaining races this season.
That's right.
Dude, we can take off.
Let's go.
That's it. See you guys in wherever, the first one in Chicago. I feel really sick. I think I'm concussed. I gotta sit at home.
All right, we're going to open up to questions for Matt and Jimmie.
You're thinking about it.
Question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you and state your name and affiliation.
For once, I'm just going to think it. All right, that was easy.
All right, it was.
Oh, wait a minute. I just got an email.
Didn't want this to be the first one, but what the hell? Can you tell how small the crowd is as you're going around at 140, 150, and I guess that's it. Can you tell? And if you can tell, what do you make of it? There's like
Can you tell what?
How small the crowd was? How empty the place was?
One's for you, Jimmie.
I don't think my mic's working.
You're the 6-time champion. You got to answer that one. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, it was like 120 degrees out there today, so I heard that there was a state of emergency they declared before the race and told everybody to stay indoors. I'm sure that doesn't help either. So it was pretty brutally hot today. But I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm pretty focused on trying to drive race cars and figure out how to make our race cars faster. I'm not a promoter or track owner or any of that stuff, so I don't know.
Well said.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Matt and Jimmie, thanks for coming in here. Congratulations on your races today.
Sorry about
All right, we're going to continue with our post-race media availabilities for today's Crown Royal presents the Combat Wounded Coalition 400 at the Brickyard. We are now joined by our race-winning crew chief, Adam Stevens, with the number 18 Skittles Toyota. Adam, why don't you just take us what it was like up on the pit box for those last couple of restarts?
I tell you, those last couple of restarts were not much fun from my perspective. When you have 4 tires lined up a couple rows behind you, you just don't know what's going to happen. And the way people were racing each other and crashing and stuff falling off the cars, I didn't know how many restarts we were going to have. So fuel started to be a concern. It wasn't at the number of laps we run, but man, a few more, and it could have got ugly for sure. But it's really enjoyable to put a car that's that fast on the track and be able to come home with a trophy.
All right, we'll now open up to questions for Adam. Please state your name and affiliation when we get the microphone. We'll start with Bruce.
Bruce Martin with Speed Sport Magazine and Autosport Magazine. How do you describe how a driver like Kyle Busch can just come in here and completely own the weekend in both series? Have you ever had a car that's been prepared this well that was just that much faster than everybody else?
Yeah, I don't think I have. And to be honest with you, practice Friday, I didn't see that kind of speed. I felt like we were good. but there were another 5 or 6 cars that could run with us, and it was going to be who made the best adjustments to who was going to really get out there and lead the laps and win the race. But even on top of that, the pit strategy can get really jumbled up, and the best car doesn't always win. But I think what leads to having a dominating car at Indy is we only come here once a year, and this track isn't like any other place. And he takes every opportunity to race when he comes here. So he's got a lot more laps around this place than maybe some others. And the speed in all the Gibbs cars is a testament to everybody at JGR and Toyota. We got a lot of dedicated people that work really hard to give us the best stuff, and it's up to us guys at the racetrack to execute. But Kyle's special, and every once in a while you'll see somebody that their natural tendency to drive a racetrack fits the racetrack. You've seen that from maybe Harvick at Atlanta at times, and maybe Brad at Kentucky, certainly before the repave, and I think we're seeing it now out of KB, that really what he wants to do with the car is the fastest way around, and maybe what other guys want to do isn't the fastest way around. And that gives him another level of feedback that lets us dial his car in for him.
All right, we are also joined by our race-winning car owner, Joe Gibbs from Joe Gibbs Racing. Coach, obviously a pretty strong day for Joe Gibbs Racing overall, 3 cars in the top 4. In addition to this being Kyle's 4th win of the season, for Matt, it's his 11th top 10 finish in 17 races here at Indianapolis, and 9th top 10 finish this year. Can you talk a little bit about the team?
Yeah, I got to say, just thrilled to be a part of this. It takes a total team effort. Adam will tell you that. Everybody back home, I wish they could be here. They worked so hard to get us here and get the cars to the point where we can race them. I just really appreciate today, Adam, Kyle. It was a great team effort. Everybody on the pit crew, over the wall. And we love coming here. And it's a huge deal for us because our sponsors love this place. I went to a lot of hospitalities today. We had FedEx here. We had Mars here. So this history here is a huge deal. We love coming here, and I really appreciate all of our partners. As I say all the time, the thing that's different about this sport, you got to have great partnerships with your sponsors to be able to race. It's unlike any other sport. So when you win, I was calling everybody at Mars and just thanking them for everybody from the top down there for letting us do this. And, we have Toyota as our partner in this. Interstate Batteries is on this car, which is called Norm. It's a total team effort. When you win a race like this, it's a huge deal for us. And I just really appreciate being a part of it. And Lord blessed us with just a great day.
We'll go back to taking questions for Coach and Adam. We'll start up here with Bob and then go to Jerry.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. Adam, you said that Kyle chooses the fastest way around, but others don't. Is that because he can drive it a little bit more uncomfortable than others in those spots?
If that's what I said, that wasn't what I intended to say. What I'm saying is the way that he wants to drive the car is what the car and the tire and the aero package need here at Indy. Where some guys might drive it harder or drive it easier or whatever they're trying to do and what they're tuning their car to isn't maybe the fastest way around. And the way that Kyle naturally drives this place is the fastest way around. And that, since we only come here once a year, that level of feedback he's able to give us gets us in a little bit different area than I think some other guys.
We'll go to Jerry and then come up here to Mike.
Jerry Jordan, former Racing Network, Kicking the Tires. Adam, you talked about dominance here, but the Toyotas have been dominant and racing really well most of the season. What have you guys hit on, and I don't expect you to tell me all your secrets, but what have you guys hit on that is making you so much better than the competition right now?
At this level of motorsports and the competition level across the field, you can't hit on one thing and beat people. You have to hit on everything. And there's 550 employees at JGR to make sure we are working on everything that makes a race car go fast. And at the end of the day, it comes down between the communication between the driver and the crew chief and the team, and taking what he's saying the car's doing and what it's not doing, and translating that into changes that make the car better. And that's Kyle's strong suit, so I think you're seeing a little bit of that.
We'll go to Mike and then we'll go to Zach in the front.
Mike Neff from frontstretch.com. Adam, you mentioned some of the cars that were a little beat up were dropping some debris on the track, but also after that red flag, there was a ton of water bottle debris on the front stretch, and your car was the first one to get to it. Did that give you any additional concern that your splitter was going to get beat up running over those bottles?
Well, you know, the water bottles, you want them picked up, which is why I pointed it out on the radio. It's not a big deal to run over them when you're getting up to speed, but at full speed, it could tear your car up pretty bad. And you just don't want to see anybody have a bad day like that. You know, as a competitor, I don't like when anybody has a bad day, to be completely honest with you, because I've been there. And myself and my team, if we have irreparable damage, like some of the cars did, we go out of our way not to muddy up the race for anybody else. You know, you hate to go out there with your car falling apart and, you know, drag a bunch of debris across the track and change the outcome of the race in a negative way when you're not having a good day. You know, so I was concerned about that, but at the end of the day, it didn't pan out that way.
We'll go to Zach and then Chris.
Zach Royal, Butler University. Compared to last year, we had a vastly different aero package plus the new tire. How do you think they've fared today, and what can NASCAR do moving forward for this race specifically with the aero package and the tire?
This is a tough place. You know, there's not much banking, and there's only one preferred groove in each one of the corners, and that makes clean air a big deal. It's not like you can spread out and go bottom to top like you can at a lot of high bank places. So that's just the way it's going to be, and there's not an aero package that's going to change that. So, you know, the racing, there was a lot of racing throughout the pack. It's just the way that it is. You know, there's no tweak or change that's going to make that fundamentally different.
Go to Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfans.com. Coach Gibbs, congratulations on the win today. Larry Mack said this week that Indianapolis would serve as a measuring stick on where teams stood as far as competition. You guys seem to have that covered. Is there any areas of improvement that the organization needs to work on before the chase?
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things in pro sports is to stay up. Because, you know, we have so many great owners and great teams in our sport. And as hard as everybody works, you see the ups and the downs. 14, we just had a horrible year. And you work real hard to get back. But you also know that everybody else out there is working extremely hard. And so in pro sports, normally what happens, you can be up and then you're down and it's a short trip back. So I think one of the things we got going for ourselves is in our team meetings. Our drivers, our crew chiefs, they are unbelievable. They just share everything. They try and solve problems together. And I think that's one of the things that right now we got really going for ourselves. But I'm always nervous because I know in pro sports it's very hard to stay up. And so our goal would be, can we do that, stay up and get ready for the chase and continue to win races? And our guys go with, I don't think they think much about the chase. They're thinking about trying to win every week. And so it makes, you know, I think our guys are getting after it. So we appreciate the way they go after things. And like I said, I appreciate everybody back home. JD, and I always kind of like called him. And I think everybody back at the shop, we really appreciate them. I wish they could be here to celebrate with us today.
Thank you. Joe, Dick Midman, Indianapolis 500 old-timer. Which was, do you feel was tougher winning in this sport or the other sport you were involved in?
I don't think either one of them is very easy to win. What I love about what I've had a chance to do, I'm probably one of the most blessed guys in the world because most people never get to live one dream. I've got to live two. And to be in the NFL, you got the best people in the world playing football. And to be able to win a game there is just, it's extremely hard. You enjoy each and every one of them. You come over here, it's the same exact thing. Team sport, everybody working together. It takes people. You win with people. And we're just really, it took us 9 years over here. It took us 9 years to win a championship. Shows you how hard you have to work. And so I think in both of them, you can't separate. It's the best of the best. And it's a thrill to be in it, and I've been blessed to be a part of it.
go to Bruce, and then back to Bob.
Coach, two questions. One, when is the last time you've seen an athlete like Kyle Busch come into a place like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and just dominate both races like he's done for the last 2 years? Then I have a follow-up after that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think it's a great sports story. And you know, it goes back really to the first of last year when he had that wreck, that horrible wreck. Because we all know a lot of athletes, they could look at that and say, take a different approach. That Kyle, from the second day he was out of surgery, he has been on a mission to get back and then to come back the way he did. And I tell you, I don't see anything in him but wanting to go to the front. And to come out of here at a place this hard to race and to be able to have 2 years like this, I think it's really special. And it's a tribute to him and the team and Adam and everybody. I think it's special.
And then to compare it to your previous career, was this almost like the Super Bowl beatdown you did to the Broncos or the Buffalo Bills?
I don't know about that. I don't want to get those people stirred up. I got enough of them yelling at me out there, hey, how about them Cowboys? Every time they go by, I go, all right, okay. I just think it's very competitive people. And I think the reason why people like to watch it, it's the greatest reality show because we have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen. We tee it up every week, and you're not sure what's going to happen this week.
All right, we'll take our final question for Coach and Adam from Bob.
This is for Coach. You've talked the last 2 weeks after wins about having so many sponsors at the track, and yet the stands have not been as robust the last 2 weeks as you've seen them. Is there concern from your sponsors or concern from you, and what do you think needs to be done?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a total team effort for us to make the racing the best it can be. And I think that NASCAR is totally engaged with us. I think this is, by far, for the 25 years I've been in it, NASCAR meets with us on a regular basis. They're wide open. They're after it. And all the things that we got to do, reaching millennials, the social media, we're blowing it up pretty good in social media. And what we got to do is continue to work hard. Our new package this year, racing, and make the racing, exciting and great. And I think we're going to get, our fans back in the stands. And I think really so far this year, my understanding is all sports are down about 9%. And we were down a lot less than that. So I think I got my stats right on that. So I think it's, we need it. We need to be smart, sharp, all the things we're doing, working hard to appeal to our fans and get them back.
All right, well, Coach and Adam, thanks for joining us. We're going to let you continue your media obligations while we speak with your driver.
All right, thank you.
All right. Good job, Joe. Way to go, Coach.
All right, we are now joined by the driver who won today's Crown Royal, presents the Combat Wounded Coalition 400 at the Brickyard, Kyle Busch, the driver of the number 18 Skittles Toyota. Kyle, this is obviously your second straight win here at the Brickyard, and this is the first time that a driver has swept the Coors Light Pole Awards and the races in a weekend. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's just a great weekend for us, and such a special weekend, too, being able to win a Brickyard 400 and have that opportunity come to our way last year, and then to be able to back it up and win again here this weekend was special in its own right, and then to add in the fact that we sat on both poles and we were able to win the Xfinity race yesterday and the Sprint Cup race today and do a sweep of the weekend 2 years in a row, that's something that probably doesn't come along very often. So I just can't say enough about the whole group of guys and people that are around us, around me and Adam and Joe, with our opportunities that we've got with having fast race cars and Toyota support, M&M support, NOS Energy drink support, and it's just been fun. So, we kind of had a down month there through the month of June and July, especially, and July is kind of picking back up a little bit. So it's cool to come here and sit on the pole and win the race. That's just really special here at Indy.
All right, we're going to open up to questions for Kyle. Please state your name and affiliation when you get the microphone.
Kurt Cavan, Indianapolis Star. Let's talk about those restarts. I mean, you're the king of the restarts in this series, and that's probably what won this race. And you had to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, the repeatability there was something I wasn't looking forward to. You know, I didn't want one, let alone 5 of them, however many there were, you know. So when that caution came out with, I don't know, 10, 11 to go, whatever it was, you know, that was sort of the kick in the caboodle for me, that I just didn't want to see that. You know, we just wanted to have the race go green to the end. We had a really good long run car, so I felt like we'd be able to hold off those guys behind us. And you know, then we had all those restarts, and you never know what's going to happen on restarts. There's a lot of gamesmanship that kind of gets played, and there was a little bit of back and forth a little bit with the guys in the different grooves. And I remember, I think I had Kenseth to my outside, I had Truex to my outside, I think I had Carl to my outside, you know, so, and then Joey Logano to my outside. So there was a lot of different characters that we had to deal with on the restarts. So just glad that everything worked out for us, and we were able to carry good speed down a straightaway and getting into turn one. I was always kind of nose to head, where I felt like I could run the groove and the speed that I needed to run, and focus on being able to hit my marks in turn two and just kind of set sail each time.
We're going to go to Bob and then to Bruce.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. You talked about not kind of wanting to see those restarts, and you know, a little bit of debris, and the caution comes out. How bitter of a pill would this have been if you had lost it on any one of those last restarts?
Yeah, no doubt. You know, we lost last week's because there was a debris caution with 40 to go. So it gets frustrating sometimes when you see those cautions and you're not quite sure why. So certainly, you know, obviously NASCAR felt there was something out there that they needed to go take care of and handle and get off the racing surface. But, you know, it's a double-edged sword. You know, sometimes there may be something out there and you want that caution to come out, and other times there may be nothing and you don't need that caution. So it goes both ways, and this sport's long enough, I've been here long enough, that those things kind of go full circle. You just got to take them when they come to you, make the most of your opportunities, and thankfully we were the leader. We had, you know, the race in our hands, that we can manipulate the restarts how I needed to and make sure that I did everything in my power to keep everybody behind me. And that's what Kenseth did last week. He had that number one spot and was able to do the same thing last week. So, you know, each and every week it's power to the leader. That's what we've all kind of asked for with this bigger restart zone and stuff too. So, you know, when you are the race leader, that you've earned that right to restart how you want.
Bruce Martin with Speed Sport Magazine and Autosport Magazine, as well as Autosport.com. Admittedly, you used to come here and struggle, and you didn't know why, but the last 2 years you virtually own both races. What has clicked for you? Has there been something that just kind of, was there an aha moment to this place where you finally figured it out?
Not really. I think, I want to say I kind of figured it out actually the couple years before that. I think I had a couple second places, maybe even a third place finish in there. And the guys that beat us on those days were just lights out, just stupid faster than us. And it was like, man, how are they that fast? Well, I finally got one of those here today, you know. We were lights out and just that fast. So it felt pretty good to be up front. And obviously you got to do everything in your power to not screw it up. So, you know, I can imagine if I would have won any of those races beforehand and beat one of those guys with the super fast cars, how they would have felt, because I know how I would have felt here today. But, you know, certainly I feel like I have gotten better here over the years, and I just feel like it wasn't the last 2 years. I feel like it was probably the last 4 or 5.
We'll come up here to the front.
Hi, Kyle. Rob Peters of the Indianapolis Star. Now that you've officially swept the weekend 2 years in a row, you pretty much own this place on the Cup side and in the Xfinity side. Does this kind of make you want to run the 500, maybe, to follow in your brother's footsteps?
Well, I won't be following in his footsteps. I'll be doing my own footsteps. So, you know, it certainly may open up some avenues. I'm not sure, but there's some people out there that have expressed some interest to me, so we'll see where things kind of go. But obviously my focus is on the Sprint Cup Series and what I'm doing here, and being able to win races with M&Ms and Skittles, Interstate Batteries, and NOS Energy Drink on the Xfinity side too. So having fun with what I'm doing right now, and we'll see. If something is able to line up, then there's a possibility, but you know, I probably wouldn't put too good of chances on that.
We're going to go to Mike and then Chris.
Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com. Kyle, Adam said when you unloaded, he knew the car was fast, but he didn't know it was that fast. At what point between Friday and Saturday did you realize it was that fast?
We made some changes to it a lot during the first practice, and then I got in that little skirmish with Patrick Carpentier in turn 2, and then I just told Adam what more I needed. You know, some changes that we made already were really good. We just needed to go more in that direction, and And again, I told him again last night some of the same things. I just felt like the feel that I was getting, it kept getting more vivid to me of what I wanted to feel in the car going through the corners instead of just feeling numb and just making laps. I could actually steer the car and you could feel the front tires bite and do what they needed to do for you. So when you get those sort of feelings as a driver, you're just like, oh yeah, that's really nice. So you put all that to good use and keep talking to your crew chief about changes that make sense and do good things for you, and you keep going that direction. So it was definitely during second practice on Friday I knew we had a really good car.
Go to Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Congratulations, Kyle.
Thanks.
23-year record was broken today with you leading the most laps in Indianapolis Motor Speedway history at 149 laps led. A, what does it mean to keep setting new records in the sport? And B, have you ever had this dominant of a car at Indy that you can remember in your entire career?
No, I've never had a dominant car like this at Indy. I think back to maybe having dominant cars like this elsewhere, and Bristol comes to mind a few times, but obviously this is just a special, special day and a special car. So I'm not sure I can get this one from Joe to put in my showcase, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll still keep using this one for the remainder of the year. It's that good. But, I think with the way that cars are built today, they have a short shelf life. They only make it about 3 races, if that. And so we'll see what all comes down. But having that fast a car here was pretty cool.
Dick Mittman, Indianapolis, old timers. 2 questions. One, when you're driving around like that and they keep happening, what do you think about? Well, you got a whole couple of minutes to go around there thinking, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? And second, there's never in the Indianapolis 500 or the other your group won 3 in a row. Your opportunity is there next year. Can you do it?
Yeah, so, rolling around under caution, just thinking about things. Certainly, I just keep thinking about what I just did and how it worked and what I need to do different. You kind of got to change up your restarts a little bit each time to kind of keep everybody guessing. Once they start to get a rhythm of what you're doing, they're going to take advantage of that. So, that's just kind of what I was doing, was just thinking about what I did and what I could do different and what I did 2 times ago. I don't want to give everybody my secrets, but as far as having the opportunity next year to go for 3 in a row, that's cool. Like you said, no one's ever done it, but that's 365 days from now. I'm going to cherish this one a lot more here first. But then when we come back next year, that'll certainly be on our minds, and being able to go out there and run this race and try to win this race. We've had fast cars here the last couple of years, and all of Joe Gibbs Racing's had quick cars here the last couple of years. So just fortunate to be with the right group that's been in victory lane here.
Kyle, Jerry Jordan, Performance Race Network, Kicking the Tires. Congrats.
Thanks.
This track is obviously compared a lot of times to Pocono. We go to Pocono next weekend. Does the momentum and everything from here carry over, and what do you bring with you to make possibly go back-to-back?
Yeah, I thought last year the momentum did carry over. We won this race, and then we were running right behind Joey Logano for much of the last stint at Pocono, and we thought we had just enough fuel to make it. We didn't. We ran out. Joey ran out first, and then I got the lead, and then we ran out. So, we ran a good race. We ran up front all day. Joey and I were kind of in the league of our own. So we definitely need to look at that and see how we were last year and how we excelled from here to there, and try to carry that momentum. Obviously, Pocono next week is a place that I haven't won at yet, so I would certainly like to check that box and get that one off the list, which only leaves Charlotte. So we'll just focus on one thing at a time and look forward to next week.
Bill Kramer Racing Roundup out of Milwaukee. There was something new this year for you at the Brickyard, and that was your wife and your son at the start-finish line and kissing the bricks. It looked like he was having a great time. Were you enjoying as much seeing him doing it as you were enjoying it for yourself?
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely awesome to have him here and have her here as well. So it's fun to celebrate as a family. We celebrate as a team, but we are one big family of guys, and her, of course, too. So, it's just neat to see him growing up, and he's growing up so fast. He's 14 months old, so he was here last year, but he had no clue what was going on last year. Probably still doesn't have a clue about what's going on right now, but he's getting closer and closer to realizing what all that is. And so one of these days he'll, I'm sure he'll want to be out there having a chance of his own to go for a Brickyard 400 victory. So that'll be fun to see.
All right, Kyle. Well, congratulations on the win today, and obviously the weekend sweep
Cool.
too.
Thank you very much.